Oh, changes. Changes. Wait. Changes. Take time. Hell, I don't remember what it is. But back when I was in college, I worked something called the US Festival. Can't even remember exactly what year it was at this point in my life, partially because I'm old. I've been drinking a lot, yeah. The dates get mixed up, sometimes. The 1980s or the 1990s, or, I forget who the Eagles are or something. But, changes. So I worked the US Festival. First time I knew who David Bowie was. Now I forget. Well, I already told you that, but I forgot that I told you. So let's see. Let's hope I remember, so I don't tell you again. I forget. A lot of famous bands, and my brother got tasked with preparing the site in a place called Glen Helen. It was 81. Might have been 82. I don't know. I don't remember. 83. And so, of course, my brother's the manager. He's tasked with, getting everything ready, building the stages and the camping areas and getting everything cleaned up. Because this place is in the middle of fucking nowhere, man. Glen Helen. Only thing they got up there is a creek with a couple of frogs in it. And it's, well, they get a motorcycle. Well, it's not really a track or no destination for motorcycle riding or racing, but those of us who grew up in the area, that's what we did. We went up there and tore up the ground with our motorcycles. And we did. The only thing there when I was a kid, aside from, a few scattered houses here, people who don't like other people and they want to live in the middle of fucking nowhere, the only thing there was just little, not a store, not a restaurant, maybe a store restaurant. I don't know what you'd call this, but I mean, you could go there and you could grab a little breakfast and sit in one of the two seats they had, or you could buy a pie. So as kids, we'd ride our motorcycles. I think it was about 10 miles from our houses. We'd go over Little Mountain. So things were different back then. You could get away with a lot of shit. So anyway, we lived next to this place called Little Mountain in San Bernardino, and you had to ride up and down that. I think it rose about 1,500 feet. I'm not sure how much. And then after you got over that, you'd cross through this, what do they call them? Culvert under the freeway. And then you'd continue on another dirt path until you got there. So you could ride all the way out there, 10 miles, back when we were 12, 13 years old on our motorcycles, and get out to that place, Glen Helen. And then we would go to the little, whatever it is, tiny building, really. But they had pie. And I don't remember what it cost, but we could afford it. As kids, we could afford it. We had paper routes. We got paid, I think it was about $60 a month. And when you work it out, it was less than $1 an hour. I guess that's okay, in 1971, 72, whatever it was. But so we got that $60 or whatever it was. And that was big time for 12-year-old kids and, the first couple of years of the 70s. And so we could buy a whole bunch of shit, we could go to the store and buy some chocolate, maybe a Clark bar, and we could buy some glue so we could sniff some glue. And sometimes we'd use it to put the models together, but that's not really why we bought it. And then we'd have some left over. We'd go, put some gas in our motorcycles. And I think gas was, depending on what year I'm talking about, it would sometimes take like 15 cents to fill up your motorcycle. Literally, 15 cents. That's how cheap it was. And then you could ride pretty much all day. Sometimes we'd have to go hit the gas station out there, put another 5 cents in. But some of my favorite memories of childhood are sitting on the concrete step outside. We're going to need a name for this place. Let's call it the Outpost, the Pie Outpost. Sitting on the steps of the Pie Outpost, eating a cherry pie or an apple pie while watching our motorcycles cool off in 110-degree heat. Fucking hot. Some of the summers are hot. We didn't do a lot of that distance stuff during the winter because school and all that shit. And just didn't seem to make sense. But in the summer, we were out there almost every day eating cherry pie at the Pie Outpost. Sitting on the concrete step. And the woman who ran the place, she seemed like she was about 150 years old to us, but now that I'm about 150 years old, I look back and I realize she was only about 30 or 40. She'd bring us out free glasses of lemonade. Oh, you boys look so thirsty. Rub some of that dust off your face. So, the memories. So that was then. Then along came the US Festival. And I don't know how my older brother had his fingers in so many pies, but he got his fingers in this particular pie and got the job of preparing basically what's a desert wasteland. There was nothing fucking there for this concert. And you have to wonder, who the fuck thought of that? I mean, why would you have a concert out there where you get all the hot bands of the times? I mean, it's funny. And of all the bands that were there, I know that, they were all big time bands. Only one I can remember is Bowie. Well, maybe I'll remember some more later, but changes space and time. But things are good. Don't even know why I bring up that story, actually. I was just getting on here thinking about making another diary entry here. Because changes are coming. People are, I live at the beach, South Mission Beach, San Diego. And I've been down here off and on for the last 27 years, something like that. Aside from being out of country. And so I rent. That was a mistake. Should have fucking bought something when I could. Back before Wall Street pumped, $100 trillion into the economy, made everything go up tenfold. So nobody who works for a living can fucking buy anything. Yeah. I'd like to take those guys on a trip at fucking Fallujah. So, but they're selling my place. So I'm going to have about 2 months starting next Tuesday. They're probably going to give me the, okay, time to go. You got 60 days. Move all your shit. Leave it in perfect condition. Go away. Yeah, I mean, I've had a great landlord for a long time. But all that Wall Street money, people are buying stuff. I don't know how the finances work out, but I guess they think they can make some money by buying my place at $3 million or $2 million or whatever it is. Just crazy. You can't even imagine it. Can't even imagine it. But that's how much money is floating around out there that was given out free to the friends of Wall Street. Pumped up in the stock market, which doubled during COVID. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Everything shuts down in the country. All the businesses shut down. Everybody goes home. And you would think there would be a little bit of suffering going on. And the stock market would, all the PE ratios would come down to something almost reasonable. And nah. The Fed prints $13 trillion in 2 years. Did you know that the national debt up until the year 2000 was still $5 trillion? Which, when you think about it, not that bad, actually. You're going from, what are we going from? 17, whatever. 76 is a common number that everybody knows, but whenever they started, borrowing. But so you take that, so what is that? Let's say it's 1775, 1875, 1975. So 200, almost 250 years. 250 years of a country surviving, thriving, going through all the machinations, wars, and setbacks, and industrial revolutions, and technological revolutions. And, after 250 years, we come up with $5 trillion, which nobody can imagine. Even that's big in national debt. Not that big when you split it up between all the workers, but still more than they can afford to pay ever in their lives. So then we got new president, Bush comes in. When Bush leaves, it's 10 trillion. So in the next 8 years, compared to the first 250 years, Bush's economy, tax on, the same amount of debt, doubles it. So there's some stuff going on. We had 9/11. We had to send a bunch of guys over to get killed and maimed and murdered, and a couple other countries, and so there's that. But then we get the token. We get the token. Obama. We're all happy, It's like, oh, well, fantastic. Maybe racism ain't a thing anymore. And it actually hadn't been for quite a while until Obama came in. But then you got his wife, and fucking, She's out there promoting racism. Oh, this is the first time I've ever been proud to be an American. E, 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 e. Yeah, well, that sounded racist, didn't it? Well, I'll tell you what, you call me a racist, and I've never even known the sentiment. Guess what you are, bitch? You don't know me. Start calling all white people racists. What a cunt. So, the token comes in. We got 10 trillion in national debt. Now, this doesn't account for all the other obligations of the country for Social Security and so on and so forth. So let's just forget that for the time being, because that's actually tenfold the actual debt. And so then you put that in there, it's like, yep, everybody put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye, because the dollar's going to fold at some point. Hasn't yet. I don't know how they've kept it going. So the token comes in. National debt, 10 trillion. 8 years later, he leaves. Guess what the national debt was? 20 trillion. So are you starting to sense a pattern with presidents? He doubled it. And then he doubled it again. Now this is looking like a geometric or exponential increase. So, at least under Trump's 4 years, now Trump only had 4 years. And, I don't remember the exact number when he left, but he actually decreased it a little bit for a moment. But we had COVID. So the people who man the printing presses over there where they print out the money, they printed some. So it went up again. And I don't know what it was when Trump left, but it was more. And now, as far as we know, and they've actually stopped reporting some of the stuff that it takes to understand what it actually is. But as far as we know, it's 32 trillion. Well, hell, when it was 5 trillion, there was no way it was ever going to get paid off, because people are barely scraping by anyway. They don't have extra money to pay off the national debt. And it was 10, then it was 20, and now it's 32. Oh, we're in fucking trouble. There is no way out. This is like a horror movie. You're in the house, and it's like you and some friends are walking by some old spooky house, and you go, oh, let's check it out. Let's go in there. So you all start walking over there. The people watching you from across the street are thinking, don't go in there. Don't go in. Don't. Why do they always go in? You know it's good. It's going to be bad. We're in the house. We're in the spooky house. And we're not coming out of the spooky house. I doubt it'll get, set on fire and we'll all burn to death, but we might starve to death. We might have some serious problems. And by the way, the Yes Festival, my brother was in charge of, constructing the grounds. We never got paid. We were there for 2 weeks, building, running around, setting shit up, and they had us living in a single wide. So I guess just the experience of being with your buddies and doing something like that. we had a couple of carts, those little electric carts. I don't remember if they were electric back then. And you could run around and feel important. And so I guess it didn't matter that we didn't get paid. Would have been nice. But the experience, the camaraderie, just the idea that we were part of the new Woodstock. That's what it was. It was a reenactment of Woodstock, but here on the West Coast, in the middle of fucking nowhere. But probably didn't cost them anything to rent the land because it was in the middle of fucking nowhere. We never got paid. They gave us a T-shirt. I think it was purple or red or something. Ugly. Fucking ugly. Everything about that was marginal. Anyway, that's all. Reporting from the future. Take care of your dogs.